Okay, next, problem 3. I'll probably do 3 and 6 on this video, I hope. 3 says the U.S. News and World Report surveyed 1,000 adults. I'm going to write that down. From the general public, reported 81% thought TV contributed to decline in family values. If the sample was randomly selected, what can you say about the proportion of all adults? So what can you say about the proportion of all adults? This was my sample. They're just asking you to find a confidence interval. It's basically, notice there's no percent given. Typically, if they don't give a percent, we will always use 95. It's the most common one. So I'm just going to go 0.81 plus or minus 1.96 times the square root of 0.81 times 0.19 divided by my sample size, which was 1,000. So we'll do that, 1.96 times the square root of 0.81 times 0.19 divided by 1. And I get 0.024, 81% plus or minus 2.4%. So what can I say about the proportion of all adults who thought that TV contributed to decline in family values? I believe that somewhere between, I am 95% sure that the actual proportion of all people in the population that thought TV contributed was somewhere between, I guess I should have done those numbers, 78.6% to 83.4%. Always better to say it that way. Okay. So I think that's it for 3. Yep, that's good. And then the next problem is 6. So I'll do 6 right now also. Suppose a random sample of size 40 produces a p-hat of 0.8. Find and approximate a 95% confidence interval from display 8.2. So I'm going to go back to that, 80%. That was the one when I used the line and draw the line up to see which one's reasonably likely. We haven't used the chart in a long time. You would never really do this. 80%, I'm getting somewhere between like 70% to 90-ish%. Might be more like 68 to 92, but it's hard to tell on that chart. And then it says use the formula. So I'm going to go 0.8 plus or minus 1.96 times the square root of 0.8 times 0.2 over 40, which is 0.8 plus or minus 1.96 times the square root of 0.8 times 0.2 divided by 40, 0.8, 12.3%. So it's somewhere like 67.7% to 92.3%. It says, give a reason for the discrepancy. So they're not the same. Okay, they're not the same. They're close, but they're not the same. And remember, I talked about this the first day we did this. The reason they're not the same is because NP hat and NQ hat, especially as NQ hat, which we need is 40 times the 0.2 is only 8. So the sample size was not big enough. We didn't meet one of the conditions. Therefore, I can't use the formula. You might remember when we did that chart, I talked about how someone else did those numbers for us in the chart just for the ones that we couldn't do because our sample size wasn't big enough. So just so you could see that. So next video for the next couple problems.